iconic roles in classics, such as Dirty Dancing and Ghost. In his powerful presence in Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze's contributions to the film industry are legendary. However, behind the glamour, Swayze had to fight a pancreas cancer that changed his life forever. As he crossed this difficult path, his last words resonated deeply, reflecting a deep love for his family and an indomitable spirit that continues to inspire. Join us to explore the last emotional moments of Patrick Swayze's life and the legacy he leaves behind him. Patrick Swayze's Ascent, a journey of talent. Let's start by exploring Patrick's life before it becomes famous. Patrick Wayne Swayze was born on August 18, 1952 in Houston, Texas. His mother, Patsy Swayze, was a dancer, choreographer, and dance teacher, while his father, Wayne Swayze, worked as a genius cartoonist. Patrick was the second of 5 children. He had an older sister, Vicky, 2 cadet brothers, Don and Sean, and an adoptive sister, Cadet Bambi. Patrick's family had deep roots in America, going back to his paternal ancestor, John Swayze, who emigrated from Bridport in England to the Massachusetts Bay Colony during the Puritan migration between 1620 and 1640. Over time, the family name became Swayze. Patrick grew up in the Oak Forest neighborhood of Houston and attended several schools, including the Catholic school, St. Rose of Lima Elementary School, Oak Forest, Black Middle School, Waltrip High School, and San Jacinto College Central. He was a young man with multiple talents, excellent in artistic skating, classical ballet, and performance in school play. In high school, he also played American football and dreamed of getting a scholarship for football. But a knee injury put an end to this possibility. However, he did not let the disease prevent him from moving forward. Patrick also studied martial arts, including wushu, taekwondo, and aikido, which helped him better manage his emotions. In 1972, he moved to New York to continue his dance training in the prestigious Arkness Ballet and Joffrey Ballet schools. In particular, American choreographer Elliot Feld had planned a ballet for Swayze and the famous dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov, but Swayze's knee reconstruction surgery prevented him from participating. Despite this setback, his various talents quickly propelled him toward celebrity as an actor. A glimpse of his iconic career. Patrick Swayze's career took off when he became a dancer for Disney on Parade, before being noticed as Danny Zuko in the Broadway production of Grease. He made his debut in the cinema in Skate Town, USA in 1979, a disco-themed film. At that time, he also appeared in a memorable ad for Pabst Blue Ribbon and played a moving role in an episode of MASH, playing a soldier who has reached the semi-terminal. Swayze continued to develop his presence on television with roles in Return of the Rebels and as a gang leader in the ephemeral The Renegades. His real takeoff came in 1983 with The Outsiders, where he played Daryl Curtis alongside C. Thomas Owell and Rob Lowe. He then found Owell and Darren Dalton in Red Dawn. Swayze also strengthened his dramatic talents in the 1985 miniseries North and South, set during the American Civil War. The real rise of Swayze came with the release of Dirty Dancing in 1987, where he played the dance teacher Johnny Castle opposite Jennifer Grey. Initially planned to be a modest release, the film became a huge success, bringing in more than $214 million worldwide. Swayze highlighted his dancing skills, his acting skills, and even contributed to the soundtrack with the song She's Like the Wind, which earned him a nomination at the Golden Globes. After Dirty Dancing, he played main roles in films like Roadhouse, consolidating his Hollywood star status. In Ghost, he shared the screen with Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg, creating an iconic pottery scene. The film became the biggest success of the year 1990 and received several Oscar nominations, including the Best Film. Swayze's performance earned him another nomination at the Golden Globes and contributed to Goldberg's Oscar victory as Best Actress in a Second Role. Swayze's versatility was also illustrated in Point Break, where he played alongside Keanu Reeves and was named People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive. For his contributions to the film industry, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, his career was put to the test after a serious horse accident during the shooting of Letters from a Killer, which caused major injuries. Swayze also showed off his talent in Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, where he played a drag queen, thus maintaining his beloved Hollywood figure status. Later, he appeared in Donnie Darko as a motivational speaker with a dark secret, contributing to the film's cult status. He co-wrote with Billy Bob Thornton and Charlize Theron in Waking Up in Reno, a comedy about two couples on a road trip. Swayze played Alan Quatermain in King Solomon's Mines and made a cameo in the Dirty Dancing prequel, Havana Nights. He co-produced and starred in One Last Dance with his wife, Lisa Niemi, a film centered on a dance production. In 2006, he made his West End debut in the musical Guys and Dolls as Nathan Detroit. He also voiced Cash the dog in The Fox and the Hound 2 and appeared in Christmas in Wonderland. In his last film role, he played an aging rock star in Powder Blue, sharing the screen with his brother Don. His last role was as FBI agent Charles Barker in the A&E drama The Beast, filmed in Chicago. Shortly after filming the pilot, Swayze was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but continued to work during his treatment. The Beast aired in January 2009, receiving praise for Swayze's captivating performance, with some critics noting that his battle with cancer may have strengthened his portrayal. A cancer journey. In late December 2007, shortly after filming the pilot for The Beast, Patrick Swayze began experiencing a burning sensation in his stomach, which was later attributed to a blockage in his bile ducts. In mid-January 2008, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Swayze sought treatment at Stanford University Medical Center, where he underwent chemotherapy and an experimental treatment with the drug Vadalanib, designed to cut off the tumor's blood supply. On March 5, 2008, a Reuters article reported that Swayze had a very limited amount of disease and appeared to be responding well to treatment. His doctor confirmed the diagnosis, but insisted that Swayze was not as close to death as some reports suggested. Despite frequent tabloid stories about his impending demise, Swayze remained committed to his career. In early May 2008, tabloids reported that he had undergone surgery to remove part of his stomach after the cancer spread and had rewritten his will to transfer his assets to his wife. On May 28th, he announced that he was still responding positively to treatment. Later that month, Swayze made his first public appearance since his diagnosis at a Los Angeles Lakers basketball game. In June 2008, he expressed optimism, stating, "My treatments are working, and I'm winning the battle." Filming again less than a year after his serious diagnosis, Swayze described chemotherapy as hell on wheels, but attributed his positive mindset to work. Best known for his role as a dance instructor on Dirty Dancing, Swayze underwent months of chemotherapy and experimental treatments for one of the most aggressive forms of cancer, which experts estimate has a 5-year survival rate of just 5%. In his first interview since returning to acting, he shared, "I sometimes surprise myself at the end of the day, going home, with a smile on my face. I'm proud of what I do." After losing a significant amount of weight, Swayze gained 20 pounds by drinking muscle-building shakes and worked 12-hour days as the lead actor on the new TV crime drama, The Beast. He acknowledged the challenges he faced, stating, "I'm still good to work. I haven't changed." "Oh, I have. What am I saying? This is a combat zone I'm passing through." Chemotherapy, no matter how you slice it, is hell on wheels. He reflected on how to maintain a positive attitude when the statistics suggested otherwise, saying, "We go to work." At the time of his diagnosis, he was preparing to begin filming episodes of The Beast, where he played a veteran FBI agent. Patrick Swayze appeared on ABC, NBC, and CBS during the simulcast of Stand Up to Cancer, where he appealed to the audience for donations. To a standing ovation, he expressed his hope for a future where the word cure would no longer be followed by "it's impossible." He declared, "Together we can create a world where cancer no longer means living in fear, without hope, or worse." After the show, Swayze remained on stage to speak with other cancer patients. Executive producer Laura Ziskin, herself battling advanced breast cancer, noted, "He said something beautiful. I'm just an individual living with cancer. That's how he wants to be perceived. He's in a fight, but he's a fighter." Swayze later refuted tabloid claims that his cancer had spread to his liver. However, in an interview with Barbara Walters, he admitted to having a small mass in his liver, but insisted he wanted the media to report that he was fighting it. When asked if he was using alternative treatments, Swayze mentioned using Chinese herbs, but expressed skepticism about the unverified claims of proponents of alternative therapies. In January 2009, Swayze was hospitalized with pneumonia, a complication of his chemotherapy treatment. He was released to recover at home with his wife. Unfortunately, doctors later told him that the cancer had spread to his liver. Swayze, who had smoked for 40 years, once mentioning that he smoked up to 60 cigarettes a day, acknowledged that his smoking likely contributed to his illness, but he continued to smoke even during his cancer treatment. A mother's grief, Swayze died surrounded by his family on September 14, 2009, at the age of 57. His body was cremated, and his ashes were scattered on his New Mexico ranch. For the first time, Patrick Swayze's mother, Patsy, has opened up about the deep sadness she feels following the death of her superstar son. "You know, you're not supposed to outlive your children," the 84-year-old said during an exclusive interview at her Simi Valley, Los Angeles home. Patsy recalled how her son, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in January 2008, had never shown any signs of serious illness before his diagnosis. He was ill for 2 years, but no one would have known he was sick. His painful struggle played out publicly, but he bravely continued to make appearances and pursue his acting career, steadfastly refusing to let the illness get him down. Speaking of the family's reaction to the diagnosis, Patsy says, "It was a huge shock for everyone. We were all devastated." But she was constantly impressed by Patrick's resilience and determination to keep working. He kept going until the day he could no longer work, and he never complained. She reflects on how he maintained a courageous attitude, even when he was in great pain. He would make public appearances, and people had no idea he was suffering. "I knew, but he never talked about it. He was convinced he would make it. He never lost hope. He didn't want sympathy. He just kept going even when he had trouble walking." Patsy's house is decorated with pictures of Patrick and dusty photo albums she hasn't been able to look at since his disappearance. In his final months, he often visited her at her home, the house he and his wife, Lisa, had bought for her 20 years earlier. In return, she visited him at his magnificent $2.5 million equestrian estate in the San Fernando Valley. "I stayed with him since he was sick, at home and in the hospital. I knew he wanted to hold my hand all the time," she recalls. Fondly recalling Patrick's childhood, she describes him as a great kid. Very, very energetic, demanding, interested in everything. He was a born entertainer who played every sport, sang, and learned to play the piano and guitar. He had a great personality, great fun to be around, and very respectful and well-mannered. Patrick started dancing at the age of 3, following his mother to her dance studio. "I taught classical ballet, American jazz, tap, musical theater, a little bit of everything. No matter what genre of music was playing, he danced. He had that talent, that energy, and that determination." Patsy beams with pride as she recalls his athletic talents in high school. He played football and every sport there was. He was a wrestler, boxer, runner, and an exceptional athlete. She emphasizes that his early talent allowed him to succeed later in life. No matter why he auditioned, he always got the role. Although the world knew him as Patrick, his family affectionately called him Buddy, a nickname he shared with his father. They were Big Buddy and Little Buddy. My daughter is about 3 years older than him. One day, she came home and saw little Patrick lying there and said, "Hello, little buddy." From that moment on, he became Little Buddy. No one ever called him Patrick. Patsy's love for her son shines through as she recalls the joyful times they shared, the incredible talent he possessed, and the legacy he left behind. Battling health challenges. Patrick Swayze's journey to stardom. Before being diagnosed with cancer, the actor had already faced numerous health challenges. While acting and dance are star disciplines in the performance world, they require distinct skill sets. For Patrick Swayze, his acting career only truly began when ballet became an elusive dream due to a series of unfortunate health issues. The catalyst for this change was a leg injury he suffered in high school, which, combined with a series of unfortunate events, prevented Swayze from fulfilling his potential as a ballet dancer. In 1973, when Swayze was only 23 years old and beginning to make a name for himself in ballet, he developed a severe dental abscess that escalated into a dangerous staph infection. This infection eventually spread to his injured leg, and at one point, doctors feared amputation would be necessary. Fortunately, they were able to manage the infection, but Swayze's dreams of a professional ballet career were dashed. Reflecting on this loss, he said, "Leaving ballet created a void in me that I spent years trying to fill." Feeling deeply empty and looking for a new direction, Swayze decided to move to Los Angeles to pursue an acting career. He began his career in theater, appearing in a Disney touring show before taking on the role of Danny Zuko in Grease and dancing in Good Time Charlie. His film debut came in 1979 with Skate Town, USA, marking the beginning of a remarkable career in Hollywood. However, Swayze's life was also marked by struggles with alcoholism, a battle that persisted throughout much of his adult life. While there is no single cause for his alcohol addiction, certain key events contributed to his difficulties. One significant factor was the overwhelming fame that followed the success of Dirty Dancing, which made him uncomfortable. "Trying to deal with fame, I became silly and drank too much," he confessed to People in 2007. He struggled to reconcile his public image with his own sense of identity, making the pressures of fame particularly difficult. The death of his father, Jesse, from a heart attack in 1982, deeply affected Swayze. He was only 57 years old, the exact age at which Patrick would later pass away. After this loss, Swayze turned to alcohol as a coping mechanism, which led to a decade-long struggle with alcoholism. His lowest point came during the filming of Fatherhood, which prompted him to enter rehabilitation. Although he achieved sobriety in 1993, he faced relapses in the years that followed. "Alcohol feeds melancholy, and I've resorted to it many times throughout my life," he admitted. "But I overcame it by doing other, more important things." A love that lasted? The story of Patrick and Lisa Swayze, facing life's storms Patrick Swayze was lucky to have a companion by his side, his wife, Lisa Niemi. Patrick Swayze's romance with Lisa Niemi began in the most humble of settings, a dance studio run by his mother in Houston, Texas. As teenagers, they gravitated toward each other despite their rocky beginnings. We had a little bit of a conflicted beginning because he had kind of a Casanova reputation. I had a bad girl reputation, and we were supposed to stay away from each other, Lisa shared during an appearance on the Amy and TG podcast in April 2024. Yet, deep down, Lisa felt an undeniable connection. I knew something big was going to happen between us, and I trusted with every fiber of my being that it would. Their relationship blossomed when Patrick moved to New York City after high school to pursue a career in dance, and Lisa soon followed to join the prestigious Jeffrey Ballet. The couple married in 1975, when Lisa was just 19 and Patrick was 23, beginning a partnership that would last 34 years. Looking back on their bond, Patrick once said, "I knew she was the smartest woman I'd ever met in my life. For a long time, I didn't feel like I deserved her." Together, they navigated the world of performance, often appearing as co-stars in films and television shows. They even collaborated on a play that would later become the 2003 film One Last Dance, which Lisa directed. Their shared passion for dance and performance only strengthened their connection, confirming the idea that they were meant for each other. Over the years, Patrick and Lisa built a life filled with shared interests and adventures. Both licensed pilots, they frequently flew together, a testament to their adventurous spirit and mutual trust. Notably, during Patrick's battle with pancreatic cancer, Lisa personally drove him to and from chemotherapy treatments at Stanford University, demonstrating their unwavering support for one another during the most difficult times. The couple created homes on a horse ranch outside Los Angeles and a larger one in New Mexico, where they enjoyed riding horses together, an activity that brought them joy and peace in the face of life's challenges. However, their journey was not without pain. In 1990, they suffered a devastating miscarriage, shattering their dream of starting a family. Patrick, who had envisioned becoming a father and had written, "I couldn't wait to become a dad, to have a child with this woman I loved so much," was deeply affected by this loss. Although they tried to conceive again in the following years, they experienced more heartbreak and disappointment. In I Am Patrick Swayze, Lisa revealed that she ultimately suggested adoption, but Patrick remained adamant about his desire to have biological children, which created tension as he navigated their grief. When Patrick confronted his illness, the couple's bond strengthened. He continued to work on his latest project, The Beast, while undergoing treatment, showing his indomitable spirit. On September 14, 2009, Patrick passed away at the age of 57, leaving a legacy of love and resilience. Lisa recalls those final moments, saying, "I like to think he knew I was there. It was definitely overwhelming, but at the same time I knew he was in a better place because he had used every ounce of that body. He held it together, and he needed to put it behind him, and that was very, very clear to me at the end." Reflecting on Patrick Swayze's incredible journey and the profound impact of those final words, it's clear that his legacy continues to inspire and touch our hearts. His courage in the face of adversity reminds us of the strength of the human spirit. What's your favorite Patrick Swayze movie? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more heartwarming stories. Thank you for watching.